Good morning or good afternoon, as the case may be. Welcome to our virtual book fair today. I hope you'll enjoy looking at all of the booths, seeing what the authors have to offer. My name is Ellen Gillette, and I'm here with some new releases that I don't have hard copies of yet to show you, but I do have some photos in the booth. For Such a Time is an inspirational romance, a sweet G-rated story of finding love in an unexpected way. I think that you will enjoy the story, and it would be suitable for girls, teenagers, all the way up to little old ladies who still believe in the power of love and romance and faith. It is a faith-based novel, For Such a Time. Uh, People of faith will remember that phrase from the story of Queen Esther. And although this is not an allegory based on that story, there is scripture and prayer, and I hope you'll enjoy it. As Ellen Gillette, I have written For Such a Time. I've also written the second edition of She Bear in the Beautiful Garden. If you see in the back of my office a painting, it's based on the cover of She Bear in the Beautiful Garden. A lovely cover by my friend Andrea Cox. This is the first edition. I still have a few copies of this. This cover will be the same for the second edition, but I did include some additional illustrations. But I substitute teach for John Carroll High School in Fort Pierce, Florida, and also St. Anastasia Catholic School. And one of the art students did that painting as a thank you. I was doing a long-term sub job this past year, so I have that on the wall. And you can see this is my workspace, my office. Unless I'm illustrating, that I have to do at the dining table because of the better light and the bigger work area. But I've got boxes of books, I've got books to read, file cabinets, things that mean a lot to me. Sometimes you read an author and you don't really know anything about them. So this event gives you an opportunity to really see inside my writing life. And people don't always realize that writing is work. Oh, well, you're just a writer, so you can do whatever else. No, it's work, especially to be a disciplined writer. You come in, you turn on the computer, you get to work writing, editing. Good writing is rewriting, as anyone will tell you. And shout out to my writers group, Use Your Words. We meet by Zoom monthly since our facilitator hightailed it off to Virginia. But during the pandemic shutdown, that was a real blessing to be able to continue to get together. We really encourage one another. And seriously, I would not be the writer that I am today without Use Your Words writing group. Based at the Inner Truth Project in Port St. Lucie, now available monthly via Zoom. If you love to write, if you want to write, if you do write, I would encourage you to seek out a writers group in your area. Interesting story here. I've told you about some books as Ellen Gillette. This is a new card I just ordered. It says writer, author, illustrator, speaker. I write for the Indian River Magazine family of magazines here in our Treasure Coast area in South Florida. I'm the author of a book, several books. I've also illustrated She Bear. There's a series of children's books by Fred Berry that I illustrated. So I come by that title honestly. The latest was this book by a 10-year-old girl who wrote a book to encourage people to stop eating pork, Hannah the Flying Pig. All of Fred Berry's books and this book are available on Amazon. Those are my Ellen Gillette books. I also, on the flip side of my card, am coming out as Emily Sharp, romance novelist. Why Emily Sharp? It's a long story and one that I would enjoy telling your group if you would like me to come and visit you for a reading. Dear Editor was the first Emily Sharp romance book written during the pandemic in 2020. I had actually started it a few years earlier for my writers group. We had decided to write a risque Halloween story for an assignment, and when I finished reading this short story to the group, they said, "Oh, what happens next?" And so each month I just wrote another chapter until I had a book. During the shutdown, I looked for a publisher and found Blushing Books, who said it was a little short. They liked it, and it needed to include some elements that I wasn't familiar with, called power exchange. I'll let you look that one up on your own. But the Emily Sharp first book became a series. The characters in Dear Editor suggested the stonemason and the lady, which those characters suggested mating season, my personal favorite. And then the series concludes with running hot. So these are adult romances. They are sexually explicit and a lot of fun. They're not dirty books. I had someone tell me recently that they only read clean books. Well, these are clean books. They are affirming to women, nothing derogatory or demeaning to women. But I look at it like watching a movie or something on television. It may not be necessarily reflective of your personal lifestyle, but if it's well done, you enjoy it. And I think these stories are very enjoyable. And it would not have been possible without my writing group. I never would have stepped outside of my comfort zone to write romance novels. Are you kidding me? And it was only after I had completed this racier series that I decided to try my hand at an inspirational romance, which is more inside my personal comfort zone, but I wouldn't have done it without these. So I appreciate Emily Sharp, and the pen name I adopted was, I wasn't quite sure about the genre. It was all new to me. Is this something my kids and grandkids would be embarrassed by? So I decided to use a pen name, which now I'm coming out as Emily Sharp. Why Emily Sharp? Well, my mother thought I was going to be twins when she was carrying me, and she was going to call me us, Ellen and Emily. And since my last name is Gillette, as in razor, as in sharp, that's how I came up with that. So I hope that you will check out the books both by Ellen Gillette and by Emily Sharp. I'll have a website up and running soon that will be ellenandemily.com. And, I'm 63 years old. There was a time when I was very rigid in my thinking, very black and white, right and wrong. And now I see that life is more purple. Life has so many layers, and we can be who we are and be proud of the talents that God has given us. And I encourage you to check out all of the booths here today, order books, read books, post reviews for books. Let's make 2021 as fulfilling a year as 2020 was for me. And thank you so much for stopping by my booth, and I'll be available in the chats. And if you would like me to send you a card, I would be glad to do that. I'd also be available to come and speak to your writers group. Words of encouragement and affirmation. If you put in the time and you just keep doing it, great things can happen. Thank you so much, and I hope to meet some of you soon. Bye.